Hey, so I just got out of seeing Don't Worry, Darling with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles and Chris Pine and Gemma Chan and Olivia Wilde and a lot of great people. Definitely the highlight of this movie. Casting by Allison Jones. I only recognize that because she also did the casting for The Office. And I think maybe I need to pay more attention to that. But, anyways, that's not kind of where I want to go with this. Um, I've been watching previews for this movie for months, and I'm sorry, this hat is not quite me, but it's a band called The Who. Way off track here. If you don't know who they are, definitely check them out. They're a Mongolian heavy metal band. They're fantastic. So, I don't know. We'll see how this looks. Anyway, back to the movie. So, been watching previews of this for a long time, and I was a little nervous that all of the really cool stuff, the metaphors, the symbolism, the mystery had been explained in the previews, and quite honestly, most of it was. Now, the metaphors in this movie are not exactly subtle, but I don't think you always need to be super overly clever. Sometimes there's things that work um, that are relatively simple. So the main character's name is Alice, and I think you probably know from the previews, if you've watched the previews, I'm assuming, that there's something going on, and Alice is in this wonderland, and she's figuring out that maybe it's not all as she seems. Her husband Jack in the Box, right? He's trapped. Um, Definitely sort of this M. Night Shyamalan, probably pronouncing that wrong. I should know that, right? Um, Vibe and idea, but not like this twist comes out of nowhere. Though there's gonna be a little bit of a spoiler, so be aware, because I'm gonna get to the end of this movie. And but the scene with the walls closing in and them driving in the circles and the ballet dance routines, where things are perfectly symmetrical and you have to stay in your place. They do, man, they love mirrors in this movie. Olivia Wilde, who's the director, just loves her mirror scenes. Maybe there's one to two to three too many. But overall, the way it all breaks down, and the way that Alice, played by Florence Pugh, who again, I think, hopefully I said this, she's amazing. I love her. Um, the way it all comes together, it's great. This movie it feels like a really long movie, but not in a bad way, right? Sometimes a movie feels long and it's interminable and it's too long. Um, this was not cinematically. It was great. It was filmed well. It felt like a Telltale game. The video games are like the developers of BioShock, who I should know right now because it's one of my all-time favorite games, and I'm blanking on if it is Telltale. I don't think it is. But it's kind of that throwback. It's kind of that idea of life is idyllic in the 50s, 60s. There's sort of this indeterminate time period in the movie, but and you've got the cult leader in the background that's talking on the radios, and it's very much like that. And Chris Pine, by the way, um, let's hope that guy never decides to lead a cult, because he is perfect in his little con man way. Yeah, he's really good in this, even though in the end it's really, here's where I'm getting some spoilers. It really becomes sort of unclear if he is actually in charge of this whole thing or not. Um, so as far as going into the end of this movie, there's a brilliant build-up as Florence Pugh was putting the pieces together and figuring things out, and you're right along with her, and then it kind of falls apart. And I would even say, I'm gonna take my wife's line. She said it wasn't even the last 10 minutes, it was the last 5 minutes where it kind of all fell apart. And it culminates with this car chase that is basically bumper cars in the car. It's the worst car chase I've ever seen through this desert. And then the ending, it ends. It's like they didn't really. I don't always want a happy ending, but I kind of wanted a happy ending, or at least an explanation as to how it's going to end. And this felt like the story just stopped. rather than there being a clear ending to the movie. And I've gone over my 5 minutes. I try and keep it within 5 minutes. I greatly enjoyed this movie. I greatly enjoyed 99% of this movie. I think up to the end, where it starts to fall apart. But definitely take a look. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think of the review. We know the YouTube stuff. Like, share, subscribe, and whatever it might be. So, all right. I'm up for Monsters next. So we'll see how that goes. Okay.